Have you ever wondered why a political ad can make you feel uneasy, sometimes outraged, and yet you don't even agree with the speaker? Why certain promises make your heart race even though logic tells you they're probably empty? That's not an accident. That's design. Politicians don't just campaign with facts. They campaign with your feelings. They know that to win, they have to stir something inside you. Every election is a battle for your emotional switches, and most of the time, you don't even realize it's happening. People crave belonging. We are hardwired for it. Politicians exploit this by crafting identities around us and them, so you lean in without thinking. It might be family values, religion, race, region, or party lines, anything that signals you're part of tribe. Once you feel like you belong, any threat to the group becomes your threat. Loyalty kicks in, even if you never examine what you were buying into. They drop hints like they don't understand us. They don't respect what matters to you. They don't share your values. Suddenly, every policy is framed not as a choice, but as an identity test. Are you one of us or one of them? It's a powerful psychological shortcut, and it works far better than any policy paper ever could. Fear is the most reliable fuel in politics. Fear of crime, fear of economic collapse, fear of outsiders. Politicians know it moves people more than logic or comfort. They exaggerate or highlight worst-case scenarios, so even remote dangers feel urgent and immediate. Outrage follows right behind fear. Show people something they perceive as unfair, immoral, or threatening, and the emotion catches like wildfire. Outrage spreads through social media faster than anything else because anger is shareable, feels righteous, and demands action. And once you're outraged, nuance disappears. You don't ask for proof. You don't weigh options. You just demand action. That's exactly where the political script becomes most effective, when you're too worked up to analyze. Facts are cold. Stories are warm. Politicians lean on stories, real or fictional, to embed beliefs deep in your mind. Think about the metaphors they use: war on drugs, fight for justice, defending the truth. A metaphor does more than describe. It shapes how you picture the issue in your head: soldiers, battlefields, imminent danger. Symbols do heavy lifting too. Flags, uniforms, chosen color schemes, music and ads, visuals of your type of people. Each symbol triggers a visceral reaction you might not even notice. Combine it with a story about a common person wronged or a noble sacrifice made, and the emotional imprint sticks far longer than policy details ever will. Short slogans, simple phrases, endless repetition. This isn't lazy writing. It's a deliberate tactic. Repetition turns words into truths, even when they're misleading. Make America great again. Drain the swamp. Stay safe. Stay home. Over and over until it feels familiar, and familiar feels true. Complexity is the enemy in campaigns. If an issue has shades of gray, it's reduced to black versus white. The opponent is simplified into a villain. The problem is presented as urgent and existential. Simplification speeds up decisions. Your emotional brain, the fast, instinctive part, takes over your rational brain, the slow, deliberate part. The frame defines the debate. Whoever defines the frame controls the conversation. Fear works, but it flickers. To hold you longer, politicians mix in pride, guilt, and hope. Pride reminds you of your greatness, your heritage, your victories. Guilt suggests you failed or that you owe something to others. Hope promises a better tomorrow, salvation, or redemption. Sometimes all these emotions are blended in one speech or ad. Scare people first, then offer the promise, then guilt or shame to hold them, then hope to pull them forward. It's an emotional roller coaster designed to keep you strapped in from start to finish. And this isn't the old style of campaigning anymore. Data analytics, micro-targeting, and algorithms now allow campaigns to deliver different emotional messages to different groups. They know exactly which fear, which hope, which story works on you personally. Social media filters your feed, so you may never even see the opposing view. You're shown content that reinforces your identity, your fears, and your hopes. Disinformation and selective framing aren't always outright lies. They're partial truths, taken out of context, or facts withheld entirely. If you never see the counterargument, the manipulative frame becomes your reality. Behavioral nudges add another layer. Default options, emotionally charged visuals, color schemes designed to trigger urgency, background music meant to soften or harden your reaction. All these are crafted. Every like, every click, every pause you make on a video teaches the algorithm how to push you further into the emotional zone they want. It's invisible, but it's happening all the time. What you just heard isn't theory. It's your daily reality. Identity crafted. Fear stoked. Stories told. Narratives repeated. You don't always notice, but the emotional infrastructure is shaping what you believe, how you vote, even what you fear. When an ad pops up or a speech goes viral, you're not just getting information. You're being steered, nudged, and primed. And the more confident you feel about your reaction, the more likely it is that someone engineered that confidence. Here's what you need to do to fight back. Start questioning the feeling first and the message second. When you see a political message, ask yourself, what identity is it inviting me into? What fear or hope is it trying to stir? What stories is it using instead of facts? What symbols are appearing again, and why? Because once you see the strings, you can start pulling them back. Once you realize the tactics, they lose power over you. And once enough people do that, the power shifts back where it belongs. Every election cycle, the emotional playbook gets sharper, faster, and more personal. But your mind is still yours. By learning to spot the triggers, us versus them language, exaggerated threats, emotionally loaded stories, repetitive slogans, selective framing, you become harder to manipulate. You can still care. You can still act. But you act with awareness instead of reflex. And that's what real freedom looks like, even in the middle of a campaign designed to hijack your emotions. So next time you hear a speech that stirs anger, fear, or hope too perfectly, pause. Look at the framing. Notice the symbols. Listen to the story. Ask yourself who benefits from you feeling this way. Because the real campaign isn't just for your vote. It's for your emotional compass. And the only person who can protect that compass is you.